Welcome to this module on decision-making models, methods, and techniques for managers. This is going to be an interesting and insightful journey into what tools managers like you can tap into to make decisions for problem solving. By the end of this module, we hope you feel empowered to add effective problem solving as part of your skill set as a manager. Let's start right away. You might be glad to know that you're not alone in the journey to be a better decision maker. Let's meet some characters you will observe and get some insights on decision making. Firstly, we have Manager Hercules. He's in his 40s, an autocratic leader with a big ego who treats his subordinates harshly. Meet also his subordinate, Assistant Manager Kim, in her 30s. Unlike Hercules, she tends to be compliant and follows orders. The company Hercules and Kim work in deals in tourism services. It wants to save costs by outsourcing administrative tasks such as procurement, payroll, and contract labor.
We've got to help the company save costs and increase our productivity. Some of these cyclic administrative tasks are taking away our precious time. Let's consider outsourcing our admin tasks. Do our proposal. We need to start this within 3 months.
Hercules tells Kim to prepare a proposal on outsourcing. The target is to start the outsourcing in 3 months, no matter what.
Mr. Hercules, here's the proposal on outsourcing that you requested for.
That's all? That's not enough information for me to make a decision. Take it back and make sure you state clearly the procedure to get the outsourcing done.
Kim drafts her proposal on outsourcing payroll and presents the first draft. However, Hercules says information is insufficient for decision-making and that the procedure for executing the proposal is not clear. 1 week later, when Kim presents the second draft, Hercules says Kim should just find the cheapest provider.
Mr. Hercules, I have added more details to the procedure for outsourcing to vendors and all the criteria we should consider.
I see. But the most important thing is to get the cheapest vendor. I don't think you have gotten enough quotations for me to consider. Please, do a proper job.
Thus, Kim goes back to the drawing board and presents her third draft. However, Hercules questions if Kim has sought the input of relevant stakeholders.
Mr. Hercules, here's the amended proposal. I have done a thorough comparison of the vendors' prices and included my recommendations.
Well, I can see that. But why just consider the price? What about the suppliers, our management? What are some potential objections or issues they will raise? Please, be more thorough in your proposal.
Once again, Kim has to revise her draft. However, when Kim presents her fourth draft, Hercules becomes angry at Kim for taking so long.
Mr. Hercules, here's the proposal.
You have really taken too long. At this rate, we'll never get this implemented within 3 months as planned. I'm not tolerating this anymore. Here's my plan. Study it and get started immediately.
He gives her his own plan for execution and asks her to act on it quickly and improve along the way. Kim is stunned and confused. What does Hercules want? How does he arrive at his decisions? And why are they always changing? You might have faced what Kim experienced as a subordinate. Or as a leader, you think you can do a better job as a leader in making decisions affecting the subordinates. You'll learn the different models that enable you to be an effective decision maker. Let's start the section with 2 objectives in mind. Firstly, you'll understand the importance of assuming leadership and decision-making roles as a manager. Secondly, you'll understand the importance of adopting appropriate decision-making models for making decisions. At the end of this section, you'll be able to describe the role of managers in leading and making decisions to achieve organizational goals. You'll also be able to explain the importance of applying effective decision-making models in managerial functions. Finally, you will get to identify 2 main types of decision-making models. Recall the scenario where poor Kim had to present 4 drafts before getting her proposal rejected. How do you think Hercules' decision affected Kim as a subordinate? Also, how might the decision affect what Hercules' subordinates think of his leadership? Take a minute to pen your thoughts. Let's compare notes. Put yourself in Kim's shoes. If you had your proposal rejected 4 times before being told it has been replaced by your bosses, how would you feel? You'd probably feel something along the lines of being angry, disappointed, frustrated, or even demoralized. And you wish your boss had told you earlier what he was looking for and what he would base his decision on. This whole experience might leave a bad taste in Kim's mouth. Maybe she would think of him as a poor leader, poor decision-maker with opaque decision-making rules, and also prone to whims and fancies that might change any time. As you can see, a leader's decisions and how he carries out the decision-making process might have a serious impact on his colleagues' view of his leadership capability. This may have further effects on team morale, productivity, and effectiveness. This is because there might be a lack of support and buy-in from colleagues who would eventually carry out the procedure that the leader unilaterally decided on. This, of course, will impact the way and effectiveness the team or department is able to carry out actions to achieve organizational objectives. Thus, we're sure you will agree that decision-making is an important function of a leader. It affects how successful the organization will be in its operations to realize its vision and mission. As a manager, you'll have the authority bestowed upon you from the organization to make and carry out decisions as set out in your job scope. You'll need to exercise your leadership skills and apply your knowledge of the decision-making models to implement plans to achieve organizational objectives.
But I'm just one of the many leaders in my company. Surely I can't be that influential.
The above is something we might hear some leaders or managers say, particularly if they are relatively new in their role. However, one only needs to read about cases of poor or suboptimal decision-making to know that decision-making is a vital skill for managers and leaders. Take, for example, the ill-fated launch of the Space Shuttle Challenger on the 28th of January, 1986. Millions of American viewers watched the launch live, partly because one of the astronauts was a social studies teacher who was due to be the first civilian in space. Instead of watching a successful launch, viewers witnessed a devastating tragedy that killed 7 astronauts only 73 seconds after liftoff. The spacecraft disintegrated over the Atlantic Ocean, and the disaster cost the nation $3.2 billion. Post-disaster analysis revealed the importance of decision-making, especially in high-stakes events like the Challenger launch. When the managers decided to launch it, they overrode the concerns about the O-rings that ultimately led to the explosion. This happened due to the issue being buried in thousands of other decisions, which points to a failure in handling decisions to be made and prioritizing attention on where it should be. While not all decisions will have such drastic impact as the space shuttle explosion, we as managers have to recognize the factors that influence our decision-making process and how they may be costly to the department and the organization. As the organization ultimately has to deal with external stakeholders, such as customers and suppliers, there is an impact on society. It is thus important to be effective in decision-making and always be on the lookout for how this process can be improved. Given that today's business environment is increasingly volatile and complex, there is increased time pressure in making decisions. Hotch and Kunruther, professors at Wharton School, noted that with such environments, insights on decision-making are more important than ever. They opined that the faster speed in business, as in automobiles, increases the risks that a small miscalculation can lead to a serious crash. It is therefore important for managers to examine how they should make decisions, how they actually decide, and how they can improve their decision-making. Given the importance of decision-making processes, let's look at some methods that you can use to make decisions more effectively. Here we look at decision-making models broadly classified into two types, rational and non-rational models.